The Emperor protects. That is what they say. That is what the numberless masses of humanity have as a watchword against the terrors in the dark. It is a mantra to instill hope in the fearful and fear in the heretical. Such a being having the near limitless potential to watch over an entire species and protect them if they were deemed worthy enough of his grace. The Emperor protects. That is what the countless masses of Imperial Guardsmen have tattooed on their bodies, inscribed on trinkets of faith, and as honor statements of intent. It silences doubt. It breeds new hope in the hopeless. It cowers the traitor and Xenos alike with the righteous fury of the true zealot. The Emperor protects. It is the statement of intent from the myriad of Astartes chapters that serve in his name. His angels of death, his guardians in the void. A few of the more fanatical chapters even use it as a call to arms, before adorning themselves in ceramite and adamantium and purging the galaxy of the mutant, the Xenos, and the traitor. The Emperor protects. It is what we quote to the trillions of souls that inhabit the cradle of humanity. Once a beautiful orb of pearlescent blue and green, it is now a world city, an ecumenopolis. Life expectancy on this planet can be as little as a day, and for the select few, it can last thousands of years. We tell them he watches over all, that his will is made manifest through their faith and belief in his divinity. It is a lie. He does not protect. He is a lifeless, immovable husk on a throne the color of a new star. To witness its glory is to be rendered both blind and deaf. Esoteric contraptions of ancient design weave within the arcane constructs of the Adeptus Mechanicus. Millions strive to keep the insane machinations of the throne stable for yet just one more day, to maintain the parasitical link between the throne, the Astronomicon beacon, and our once peerless master of mankind. It is the only device keeping the horror of the warp in check. Without it, without him, Terra would have fallen to the traitor long ago. Or worse. Demons of warp fire, etheric constructions of hate, pride, lust, anger, and all other forms of emotion made manifest by the capricious whims of the dark gods. They push at the curtain wall that holds the Webway project closed. Legions without number, a foe with no beginning nor end, scratch away at the gate. Their talons of prideful virtue and surreptitious deceit try in vain to gain a footing in this plane of existence. Sometimes they are successful, only to be sent back to hell. No matter the situation, we are expected to believe the lie, to peddle the uniform truth, the uniform untruth. The Emperor protects. His psychic power, bolstered by the thousands of psychers sacrificed to support his own majestic might, keep the twin aspects of his will in check, the Webway Gate and the Astronomicon. Without either, Terra and the Greater Imperium would have died away millennia ago. His once unmatched might and splendor lies decayed and broken, stripped away of all things that make us human. He has no sight, for his eyes are either destroyed or rotted away to hollow orbs, and yet he sees all. He has no sense of hearing, for those appendages withered away eons ago to minuscule, desiccated lobes of mere dead flesh, and yet he hears everything. He lies broken, twisted, draped in cloth that has not been touched since his incarceration. His armor lies broken and shattered, handed out to all Astartes chapters as tiny slivers of auramite, able to withstand even the mightiest of blows from tainted souls and cursed weapons of hate. Yet, his war is far from over. The only item that withstood the decaying, entropic touch of time was his sword. It had no name, for it was always known as the Emperor's sword. It had no need for further distinction. Yet, our Lord of Humanity cannot wield the great blade that bears his title. He is but a shell, a prison for his own psychic might. Yet, he is omniscient and omnipresent. He is no god. He is no divine being. He was glorious once, undone by the warp-polluted machinations of his favored son. Thrice cursed be his name. Undone by the hope that his son would see the folly of his choices. His faith in his son, and failure to do what must be done until the final blow, led to this eternal imprisonment. It was not the only son that failed him. Each failed him in their own way, directly by omission and absence at the last, or by dint of actions they considered just. The Primarch project was a success, but also an abject failure. The ecclesiarchy is false, yet we allow it to endure, to prosecute the great lie. This is the dichotomy of the world we live in. The fate of humanity skewed by choices long made, but forever paid for in blood and anguish. How he must scream for all our sakes, and yet has no voice to render sound. A prison within his own mind and body. A soul cage. And what of me? I am no one in comparison to his once glorious majesty. A tool, a weapon, to be cast aside once its honed edge is knocked and cracked. I am Saggitar Ekon, one of his companions, not one of the originals. I came after the fall and our great betrayal. For those who went with our Lord onto the damnable vengeful spirit, those dauntless few were polluted by the foul trickery of the warp. They turned on our Father, and he slaughtered them to a man. For that transgression, we are all shamed. We stand watch as his constant vigil, his last line of defense. My armor, once a lustrous gold, now appears burnt and scarred black. My strength, once mighty and without equal outside of our order, is all but spent. For in his might we are but leaves on the wind. I hold my custodian spear at parade rest, even if to do so means I am wilting away day by day. I am unmoving in the storm of light and fire that brackets us. My cloak billows in the etheric wind that would strip even the most hardy meat from bone. Yet, I stand in defiance of fate. This will be my last service in the role of companion. As a member of the Hetaeron Guard, I come to the end of my tenure. My pride and will are spent. His will is parasitic. It takes and takes and takes until you are naught but dust to him. The older, more noble few of our kin now protect the Imperium's interests. Notable individuals known to fate's caress, safeguarding the few, those mistakenly attributed to the Emperor. We go unspeaking, without thanks or expectation of payment or honor, for serving him is our reward. He may age our bodies, scar our very souls, but we still serve however we can. We aid the Imperium's dauntless few, granted a sliver of his glory through our presence. We are demigods in their eyes, avatars of his will, beacons of his divinity. Yet, we are but his guardians, his companions, and my time as one has now come to an end. My body is aged, gnarled like old wood, hard like the crust of old earth. It is time for another to take my place, to take the mantle of companion and serve with renewed vigor. Let the old die and the young take the mantle, they say. Now you can rest, honored protector. Yet rest will never be mine. I can still serve. There is still time. I still have hope for mankind's future, even if I must proselytize a lie, inimical to everything I know to be true, just to encourage the stalwart masses of humanity to endure but one more day, just one more moment of hell, then I will. For, contrary to everything I have shared, I do believe in him. I believe in his vision for humanity, his faith in our species. So let there be faith, let there be belief, let the enemy know that his will is made manifest, that his strength is in my arm, that by the light of the Astronomicon and the will of his people, the Emperor does indeed protect, and so will I.